Hello warriors, this is Miriam Masib, Commander Mimi, and today we're going to talk about cognitive distortions. But before we get into the list, I'm going to give you like a 16 or so list. What is a cognitive distortion and why do I need to have this list? Well, it is irrational ways of thinking. That's what they are. We do it all the time. It's super common. Oh, I never get this right. Super common to hear people say that, and it's really irrational. So I'm gonna give you an overview of all these cognitive distortions so you're better able to catch them because they're very automatic. They just pass through your brain and like nothing. But if you're able to catch them, oh, that's an automatic, that's a cognitive distortion. It's an automatic thought. Then you'll be able to realize, okay, that's not true. Let's find the other side of the coin and work through them, because they only lead to frustration. They lead to negative feelings, and the more you can catch them, the more you'll be able to move on and be happier and be a lot more proactive. So let's start with our list. 1. All or nothing thinking. Other people call it polarized thinking. So either you're a total failure or you did something perfect. This is very hard because no one's perfect, and so if you're following a diet, the most common example, and you have a cookie one day, like, oh, I just ruined everything. I can never stick to a diet when it's you don't have to be perfect to actually get something done. 2. Overgeneralization. So this is a little bit like the all or nothing thinking, but this is more like you make a conclusion based on just one event. So just because you failed one exam from one topic doesn't mean that you're not good at school. And some people tend to have those thoughts, oh, I'm just terrible at school, I'm terrible at this and that, when it's just one event. 3. Mental filter. This is actually something very, very human. We humans are very good at focusing at something, and we don't see the rest. To give you an example, if you look around and I tell you to notice all the green things, and then you close your eyes and I'm asking you to notice all the blue things, you're gonna have a hard time remembering because you were so focused on looking at the green things. There's a bunch of experiments about this. Some are very, very ridiculous, and people really do not see a monkey, a big gigantic gorilla in a video when they are counting ball passes. So it is a human thing. So this is when you have an experience, like in the morning something happens, and just because you had that experience, your whole day is ruined. Well, that's not true. You still have the whole day ahead of you, but just because that one thing happened, then you're so focused on that, you can't see that you still have the whole day ahead of you. That's just an example. 4. Disqualifying the positive. This is actually very common when people are getting compliments and like, oh, you did that so well. Oh, well, that's because I was pretty easy. Oh, that's because they made it easy for me. Oh, that's because you just don't disqualify that something's good. 5. Mind reading, a type of jumping into conclusions. We can somewhat tell sometimes why someone does something, like, oh, they probably did this because they're hungry, or they're this, or they're that, but that doesn't mean that you really know why a person did something. You never know what's happening in their minds. If they make a stink eye and they looked at you bad, it's not because they don't like you. You don't know that. It might be because they are irritated, their day went bad. You don't know. You never know. So just stop assuming that you can know what other people is thinking, what other people think. 6. Fortune telling. This is another type of jumping into conclusions, but this is a little bit more just like a very human thing that we have to learn to be able to survive. Okay, why did the tiger come here and attack us? Oh, it's probably because we made so much noise, we did this, we were cooking and they smelled the meat, whatever. There's many situations where, if you get sick, oh, why? Because I ate blah, blah, blah. You get the idea. We do this, and it's good if you are taking it as, this is a possibility, this is a guess, but a lot of people take it as truth. Oh, no, this happened because you did this. You know what I'm trying to say? Don't assume that something happened because of something. It might be a little piece of the truth, but not the whole picture. So just don't take it as something is because of that. 7. Magnification or minimization. This is common too. that some people take something that happens and they make it a huge deal. I missed this deadline, I'm gonna miss my job, my whole career is lost, like the whole world, their world is ending. Some people call this catastrophizing, because they make something small a catastrophe, when in reality most things you can fix them or you can work with them. And some other people, just something huge happens and they don't see how big of an impact their actions take, and they're like, it's nothing, probably because they don't want to feel guilty, they don't want to feel bad, I don't know, but they either like minimize things, and that's not good either. 8. Emotional reasoning. This one is actually a very, very common cognitive distortion. It's basically taking your feelings as if they are the truth. Because you felt rejected, they were most certainly rejecting you. And no, it's okay to know your feelings, share them, and say, you know what, I felt rejected. But always clarify, always verify, always ask, like, were you like trying to reject me? Were you trying to do something to me? Like, or what why did you do this? I'm just curious. Always confirm, because you feel something doesn't mean that that is how it happened or that's how it is true. 9. Should statements. This is a huge one, and one that I have to deal often with my clients, because I work with discipline and habits and everything, and I should have done this, I should have told them, I should have, and that is very destructive. It might be okay if you one day say like, oh, I should have done that, that's smart, okay, next time that happens, I'm gonna do that. That's the only way that I see that a should statement could work, if it's used to be proactive and to build for your future. But most of the time, that's not how we use should statements. They're usually just to beat yourself over something, and that will make negative associations with whatever habit or discipline. Sorry, let's just talk about that in a different video. Right now, I'm just giving you an overview. 10. Labeling or mislabeling. Notice whenever you are using a label for someone, oh, that's stupid, or that's this. Sometimes there is a little bit of truth for that, but it doesn't mean that it is true. Just because you put a label on it doesn't mean that that is the way it is. So always doubt yourself when you're putting something in a box, because there's usually a lot more to it. 11. Personalization. And the other side of the coin of that one is blaming others. Personalization is whenever you take as a personal responsibility everything that happens around you. There is a good positive side of this one that I will explain in a future video, but for now, just know that because your kids got bad grades, it's not your fault. There's always, you have a little bit of responsibility on everything that happens around you, just a tiny bit that you could do, but not really. You're not in control of your life. So it's an illusion, really. You can attempt to have control, and I'm going to teach you that. We'll talk about this in a different video, but as for now, let me tell you something. You cannot control directly what happens around you. And blaming others is whenever you take zero responsibility of anything that happens around you. And there's even some people that won't even take responsibility of their own actions, like, you made me mad. Just because something happens around you doesn't mean that you can't control your actions. You have a little bit of responsibility on everything, like I said, but you cannot directly control your world. 12. Control fallacies, and this is a little bit of what I was just talking about. You can't either have complete control of yourself or other situations. If your leg starts cramping, you're not controlling that, it's just happening. So you don't have complete control. We strive for that, and that is good, but you don't have it. And the other one is that you're not a helpless victim either. There's always something a little bit that you can do. If your leg starts cramping, you don't have to yell at the person in front of you. You can control what you do. 13. Fallacy of fairness. This is actually a very, very sad one, because there's a lot of people that believe just because I'm a good wife, he should be in debt with me, and he should stick with me his whole life. That's what's gonna happen because I have been the best wife I can be. Well, yeah, but it's not true. So just because you did something doesn't mean that the other person is gonna reciprocate with your idea of fairness. 14. Heaven's reward fallacy. So this is a little bit of the fairness world idea. It's the belief that, oh, because I worked so hard, I'm going to get my reward. I'm going to get what I deserve because I did the best I could. Sadly, a lot of people do get their rewards, but a lot of people don't. There's a lot in this world that it's not just your hard work, and not everything is fair, sadly. So you may agree with me right now, but there's like sometimes digging into situations with my clients, they find out that, wow, I didn't even know I thought or I saw the world in this way, and that is what is making me upset, and that's what's making me so frustrated and so hurt. So dig a little bit. 15. Fallacy of change. This one's a tough one to tell people because, as we know, we can't change people, but we tend to believe, oh, if I help enough, if I put enough, I'm going to be able to change this person so I can be a better wife, so I can be a better mother. If I'm there, if I do this, I will be that change. And truthfully, a lot of people don't want to change. They don't want to be helped. There is a lot that we can do to help them, and by you changing, most likely they will change. But this doesn't mean that it is a direct consequence. It will happen. It's not a sure thing. They need to do their part. You do yours though, always. And last one, 16. There's a lot more others, but this is the last one I'm going to talk about because it's important, and it's always being right. This is a perfectionist fallacy, and this is believing that you always must be right. And this is why a lot of people fall into the imposter syndrome. They feel like, oh, when every second they're going to be caught that they are not the best person, that they're not the most qualified, they're not no one is perfect. No one is, and you're gonna make human mistakes. You might be the most knowledgeable person in the room, but that doesn't mean that you can always make a very human mistake. So you can't always be right. You are most likely, very, very likely, going to fail, and that is good. As long as you keep learning, and as long as you keep going forward and moving and striving for a better future and a better self and better well-being. Okay, I hope this was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions. Later on, I'm going to make a video of each one of these and how to catch them and how to get over them, how to rewire your brain so you can always be the happiest and most proactive, because that is the goal. I want you to get what you want, so you have to get these little thoughts out of the way so you can go directly into your goals, okay? Thank you so much for watching. Lots of love. Let me know what you think and share this. This is important for everyone to know. Okay? Bye!